Hello everyone, I'm David Celdran, your quiz master, and welcome to another exciting and educational episode of Bilyonaryo Quiz B, College Edition. Here, knowledge reigns supreme and the sharpest young minds battle for a chance to win over 1 million pesos. That's right. So, are you ready for sparks to fly in another thrilling clash of college top-notchers? I guess you are. Okay, let's bring in another promising trio of college students eager to showcase their knowledge and their wit. So let's meet our contestants. Let's start off with contestant number 1. She is a 22-year-old Army cadet, second class, pursuing a degree in management with a major in security studies. She's also a consistent Dean's Lister and Course Excellence Awardee. She also puts her passion for ballet, that's right, ballet, to good use as a volunteer dance teacher for children in need of special care. Let's all give a warm welcome to PMA's Christine Kaye Librada. Hello, Christine. Oh, I love your outfit. Please, take your position. A warm welcome, because she's coming from Baguio, obviously. Welcome to warm Quezon City. Let's meet our next contestant. He is a third-year development studies student who would love to solve poverty in the Philippines and, of course, elsewhere around the world. He's also a member of his university's student government. He has experience in science and math competitions and a strong fascination with military leaders, and also a deep love of dinosaurs, why not? Bringing a remarkable competitive spirit to the BQB table, here's DLSU's Javier Ignacio Fernandez. Javier, welcome. Please take your podium, Javier. I love it that they're wearing their school uniforms. Of course, wearing a student government t-shirt. Let's go on to our final contestant, contestant number 3. This fifth-year civil engineering student's diverse skills include piano playing and calligraphy. 2024 turned out to be a really exciting year for him, as he was sent to both Thailand as a delegate to an ASEAN program and Tokyo as a foreign exchange student. Will BQB be one of his highlights for this year? Well, let's hope so. Put your hands together for UP Diliman's Akira, Trinidad, fresh from Seoul, South Korea. That's right, he just flew in this morning to join us here on BQB. All right, looks like we have a competitive and diverse set of contestants. So, with introductions out of the way, let's kick off the quiz with a rundown of our elimination episode's mechanics. Let's listen in. Today's elimination episode will consist of 3 rounds of collegiate-level questions. The first 2 rounds will cover history, science and technology, arts and literature, math and logic, geography and nature, and general information. Contestants must listen very carefully as I read each question out loud. Remember, only the viewers at home have the benefit of reading them on screen. After round 2, the contestants with the highest score will advance to the final bonus round, while 2 with the lowest scores will be eliminated. Let's break down the mechanics of round 1. There are 12 questions worth 1,000 pesos each. The first contestant to buzz gets to answer. Correct answers earn points, while incorrect answers give the remaining opponents a chance to steal. Let's see who can outsmart and outbuzz their opponents in round 1 of the Bilyonaryo Quiz B. All right, just a reminder, contestants, after buzzing in, remember, you must wait for me to acknowledge you first before you can give your answer. Otherwise, you forfeit your chance, okay? And give the others a chance to answer that instead of you. All right? So are you ready? Yes. Hands close to the buzzers. Get those nerves out of the way because we are about to begin with our first question in our elimination round. Now, these are relatively easier questions than others. And let's start off with a question in history. Listen in. I will require a full name, a first name, and a last name of this person I'm looking for. Now, what member of the Philippine propaganda movement used the pen name Plaridel? Akira was first.
Gregorio del Pilar.
That is incorrect. Javier?
Marcelo del Pilar.
Correct. Marcelo del Pilar or Marcelo H. del Pilar. Plaridel, of course, was an anagram for del Pilar, Plaridel. All right, let's go to our next question. Science and technology this time. What famous equation is associated with Albert Einstein's theory? Javier was first. You're all buzzing at the same time, but go ahead, Javier.
E equals mc squared.
E is equal to mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. You're correct. And that was E is equal to mc squared. All right, let's go to our next question. Arts and literature. What American institution is the world's largest complex of museums and research centers? Javier.
New York Library.
The New York Library is incorrect. Anyone else? Largest complex of museums and research centers in the United States. Sure you know this. I'm sure you know this. Christine?
Modern Museum of Art.
The Modern Museum of Art? Good try, but that's incorrect. Akira, would you like to try? Akira, go ahead.
Washington Library.
Very close. The Smithsonian. The Smithsonian, which is a complex of libraries, free by the way. If you're in Washington, D.C., you can enter these museums for free. That includes, of course, the wonderful Space Museum. All right, let's go to our next question. Math and logic. No need to solve for this. What do you call the boundary of a specific area or geometric figure? Akira.
Perimeter.
Again?
Perimeter.
Perimeter is not correct. What do you call the boundary of a specific area or geometric figure, especially of a circle? Javier?
Radius.
Radius is wrong. Circle. Yeah, Christine, why not? Go ahead.
Circumference.
Yes, it is circumference. Very good. Let's go to our next question. Geography and nature. Still for 1,000 points. You'll be in hot water if you are not aware that this lake in northeastern Mindanao is actually, Javier?
Lake Mainit.
Because?
It steams.
That's right, and the clue is in the question. You'll be in hot water if you're not aware that this lake in northeastern Mindanao is the country's deepest lake. It is Lake Mainit. Interesting, right? That's why you'll be in hot water if you don't know. It's actually a very hot lake. Now, what's the name of this popular destination? Also the deepest lake in that area. It is Mainit, or Lake Mainit, lies between the provinces of Surigao del Norte and Agusan del Norte. Interesting. Let's go to our next question. General information now. In sports, what relatively new Olympic discipline features an event known as bouldering? Javier?
Bowling.
Bowling, no. Bouldering, known as bouldering. Akira?
Rock climbing.
I'll consider that. Rock climbing, wall climbing. The discipline is sport climbing. So interesting scores right now, 1,000 points. Akira, Christine, both in second place. Javier in first place with 3,000. Still very early, halfway through our first round only. Let's go to our next question. History. This one is what we call a picture quiz, okay? And I will require a specific answer corresponding to the image, the visual, the picture that will show you after I'm done with my question. But feel free to answer the question if you think you know it even before I'm done. Let's go with this question. What is the name of this history-making aircraft that's shown on screen? Javier, be careful. I have to call on you first before you answer. Your answer?
Biplane.
Biplane, no. Specific answer. This particular model of aircraft, what is it called? It is a biplane, 2 wings, but it's a specific kind of aircraft. Akira, what
Boeing?
was it? No. This history-making aircraft. Historical because it was the first extended manned flight. It was by the Wright brothers. The Wright aircraft or the Wright flyer would have been the correct answer. All right? By the Wright brothers, remember, they were the first to pretty much develop this aircraft. Not the first aircraft to fly, but the first with a sustained manned, meaning it was heavier than air, powered and controlled aircraft. All right? Way back in 1903. Let's go on to our next question. Science and technology. The idea for what kitchen appliance was accidentally born when a chocolate bar melted in the pocket of an engineer? Christine?
Microwave.
Yes, it is the microwave oven. Correct. When a chocolate bar melted in the pocket of an engineer named Percy Spencer. That's right. By accident, he left his chocolate bar and he was working around radiation, and that's where he got the idea for the microwave oven. All right, go to question number 9. Arts and literature. In Michelangelo's marble sculpture of him, what biblical figure holds a sling in his left hand? Javier?
David.
David, that is correct. Most people don't know what he's actually holding, right? If you look carefully, it's a sling, or a slingshot, as some might call it. It was the David in the Galleria dell'Accademia in Firenze, in Florence. Okay, next question. Math and logic. You might have to solve for this, indeed. I'll read the question twice. 33 is what percent of 44? 33 is what percent of 44? That's pretty quick, Christine. Go ahead.
75%.
Very good. 75% is right. You see, both numbers are divisible by 11. So 33 over 44 is equal to 3/4, which is 75%, equivalent of 75%. Looks like an interesting competition that's shaping up. 3,000 for Christine, catching up slowly with Javier. Akira, you're still in the running with 1,000 points. All right, let's go to question number 11. Geography and nature. What type of biome or major ecosystem is commonly referred to as the lungs of the earth? Javier.
Amazon rainforest.
We will consider that. The Amazon rainforest, or also rainforests in general, tropical rainforest, and of course the Amazon rainforest being the largest tropical rainforest in the world. That is correct. All right, question number 12. The prestigious Rhodes Scholarship is an international postgraduate award for students who study at what university? Javier.
Oxford.
Yes, it is Oxford. Very good. Some of the most famous recent graduate program participants would be Bill Clinton. You know that, right? Bill Clinton. And did you know there was a Phil-American Harvard student called Eileen Wickstrom who was part of that program in 2024. All right. 12 questions done. Let's check our scores after our first round. 6,000 points for Javier. He's in the lead. We have Christine in second place with 3,000 points. Akira from UP with 1,000 points. You guys are good at math, I can tell, and you know that's going to be a very, very tight race as we move on to the next round. That is correct. It's still anyone's game at this point, so we'll be right back with Bilyonaryo Quiz B's exciting knockout round after this short break. Welcome back to Bilyonaryo Quiz B, where we ask promising college students to prove that knowledge is indeed truly their greatest asset. And at this point, we'd like to get to know them a bit more. So let's start off with Christine, contestant number 1. I love it that you're wearing your school uniform. What do you call that?
We call it the dress white uniform.
The dress white uniform. So you sit in class wearing one of those?
Yes, sir. Every Monday.
Oh, wow. That's quite stiff, right? But you're used to like sitting stiff, standing stiff.
Yes, sir.
And I can see your posture has been fantastic all throughout the first round.
Yes.
You're used to standing how many hours each day?
For the regular parades, it's around 2 hours, and for the longest ones, it's around 3 to 4 hours.
All right, Christine, earlier in the introduction, we said you had, ballet training, but you're a PMA cadet, but you're also studying in De La Salle Taft at one point. You moved to PMA. I mean, you're breaking a lot of stereotypes, obviously. But I want to know, what made you want to pursue being a military, a PMA cadet?
For one, I think it's all about breaking boundaries, because as a dancer, everyone can dance. And it's the same for the military. Anyone can enter the military with the right discipline and the things and values that you learn inside. Anyone can lead. Anyone can be a leader.
I love that. I love that. Listening to our next generation of leaders, it's great that it's something top of your mind. Thank you, Christine and Javier. Speaking of military leaders, I was really curious. In the pre-interview, you said that one of the things that fascinates you is military history, and in particular, military leaders. Okay, I mean, who would be like top of mind, the one leader that you admire the most?
That would be none other than General George S. Patton, because George S. Patton was known for his brash behavior, his courageous attitude, that he would lead from the front. And of course, he was a was a veteran in the First World War. He led the battalion of French tanks towards the Germans. And then, as a result, he gained experience from it. So he led what you call, in the Second World War, what you call the American version of the Blitzkrieg.
That's right.
Technique.
That's right. He was known as like some kind of daredevil, an aggressive general.
Yeah.
And for that, he was actually controversial within the American military establishment. And yet, everyone knows him. George S. Patton, indeed. Akira, I want to know more about your experience. You've been traveling around the world, particularly in Asia. You're an exchange student in Bangkok for a week, and then in Japan for, was it a year?
half a year.
Half a year. So what does it do in terms of your perspective about life?
Yeah, so I was expecting for the exchange program to help me make friends, which was like my main goal during the exchange. But then along the way, I learned to appreciate the culture of the countries I'm visiting, and just really appreciating how life is different in the other countries and how Philippines can be if we were in the same case as those countries.
That's right. You always learn from other countries, the experiences of other countries and other cultures. And of course, you just came back from Korea, so that's another lesson to be learned. All right. Thank you so much for your answers. Christine, Javier, Akira, are you ready to go to our next round? This will be the deciding round. 2,000 points for every correct answer. That's right. We've got 3 contestants from very different backgrounds, walking very different paths, but right now they're all facing the same Bilyonaryo Quiz B knockout round. Now, here's what's in store for them in round 2. In round 2, the game mechanics remain the same, but the questions are now more difficult and worth 2,000 pesos each, except for the Bilyonaryo Booster question, which is worth an exciting 4,000 pesos. No wagers, no penalties, just a big-time boost to get our contestants nearer the Bilyonaryo Quiz B finish line. At the end of this round, the 2 contestants with the lowest scores will be eliminated, leaving 1 weekly winner to advance to the bonus round and a slot in the semifinals. If round 2 ends in a tie, the game goes into a sudden death tiebreaker, where the first contestant to answer correctly wins. So get ready, contestants. May the Bilyonaryo Quiz B odds be in your favor. All right, those are the mechanics, and just a very important reminder, remember, wait for me to acknowledge you first, after you buzz, before you give an answer. You might think you were first to buzz, and you might give away an answer for free, all right? Be careful about that, otherwise you forfeit your turn. All right, so this is it, guys. 3,000 for Christine, 6,000 Javier, Akira 1,000. This time 2,000 points for every correct answer. All right, you all know this. Anyone can win. Let's go on to our first question in round 2. In history, stretching over 6,000 kilometers, what famous ancient trade route linked? Christine?
Great Wall of China.
No. Javier, you steal?
Silk Road.
The Silk Road is the correct answer. That's correct. Stretching over 6,000 kilometers, what famous ancient trade route linked China? Then that's where you gave the Great Wall of China, connecting China and the West, or with
Silk
Europe,
Road.
and it got its name from a particular fabric that was being traded along this route. It was a silk route, and silk being the fabric. That's correct. All right, let's move on to our next question. He inspired the film, The Theory of Everything. Akira.
Oh my God.
Time's up. All right, Javier.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking is the correct answer. Inspired the film The Theory of Everything and authored the best-selling book A Brief History of Time. Who was the scientist? He was Stephen Hawking. Now let's go to question number 3, arts and literature and poetry in particular. I will need you to recite a line of poetry, the line from this poem. What are the 10 most famous words written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning? 10 most famous words written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which appear in a very famous poem. I'm sure you know this. Time's up. Would you ever have come across this line before? How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. No, they haven't. Okay. All right, you guys aren't romantic in your generation, but during our time, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. That's right. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, from her 1850 collection, Sonnets from the Portuguese. You know, I suggest you read that poem. It's a beautiful poem. In fact, you should check out Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Beautiful, beautiful poetry from her. Next question, number 4. This is math and logic. No need to solve for anything. It's a numerical term that we're looking for, okay? Listen in. Coined by a 9-year-old boy, it refers to the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. Christine?
1 Google.
We will consider that, correct. A Google, yes, or 1 Google.
Google.
It's 1 followed by 100 zeros, or 10 to the power of
100.
100. What huge number is this? A Google. Not a Google, as in the search engine, but a Google, okay? Next question. This is a picture question, a picture quiz. Again, let me finish the question. Take a look at the screen and see what that visual clue is. Here's the question. Identify in geography and nature, animals in particular. Identify this cute creature, if you can call it cute, whose name starts with the letter Q. Let's take a look. Javier?
Koala bear.
You know that doesn't start with a Q, right? That starts with a K. Anyone else? What is this animal? It's actually also known as the happiest animal in the world. It's a marsupial from Australia. Not a kangaroo, obviously, but it's called a quokka. 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 Something you learned here on BQB. Quokka.
Cute.
Koala bear. Almost there, but it wasn't quite the answer. Next question. In general information, we're looking at games and pastimes, hobbies. What was described in 2016 by the New York Times as a clunky Swedish computer game teaching billions of children to master the digital world? Javier?
Mobile Legends.
No. Game. Digital game. Akira?
Minecraft.
Yes, it is Minecraft. Correct. 2,000 points for you. Question number 7. History. And in ancient times, okay? In pre-colonial Philippine society, who was the equivalent of today's public information officer? Javier?
That will be the babaylan.
The babaylan? No, not correct. Let me finish. Who was the equivalent of today's public information officer or spokesperson in pre-colonial Philippine society? The answer is, would you like to try?
Umalahokan.
Yes, but too bad you can't get that point. Umalahokan, the town crier, something we took up in elementary and apparently still being taught today. That's right. This town crier went around the town, literally like announcing the policies of the datu, or the leader at that time. Let's go to our next question, number 8. Science and technology, superstructures. At $150 billion, what masterpiece of engineering and human ingenuity is considered the most expensive man-made structure ever built, but less than 300 people have only ever been there to date? Javier?
Eiffel Tower.
Not the Eiffel Tower. And not $150 billion for sure to build that one. Akira, would you like to try? You need this to catch up.
Ghost City.
No. Christine, just make a guess. You never know. Yeah, why not?
Statue of Liberty.
No, it was the International Space Station. Most expensive man-made structure. And the clue there was only 300 people have ever been there, okay?
Astronauts.
Which doesn't apply to, of course, the monuments that you gave. Only astronauts, people who've been to outer space have been there. Next question, number 9. Arts and literature, pop art. Who began as a graffiti artist in New York subway? Javier?
Vincent van Gogh.
Vincent van Gogh, no. Again, who began as a graffiti artist in New York subways before graduating to large outdoor murals and iconic motifs like the radiant baby and the barking dog? Who was that pop artist? Time is up. It was Keith Haring. Keith Haring. You see his very colorful pop art with those, those stick figures, or at least those outline figures. That was his iconic style. All right, next question. For 2,000 pesos. We have 3 more questions. So Christine, you're still in the running, okay? Math and logic. Mental math, you're good at this. I'll read the question twice. Everyone, listen in. What is the sum of all integers from 1 to 10? Javier?
55.
Oh, that's great. 55 is the correct answer. 55, yes. That's 1 plus 10 times 10 over 2. 11 times 5 is equal to 55. Question number 11. This is a Bilyonaryo booster question, so it's twice the amount. Christine, Akira, it's going to be very difficult to catch up with Javier right now, but you can take home more cash if you get this question. It's going to be worth 4,000 pesos, okay? What 4-word term was coined by Herbert Spencer to describe a process closely linked to the concept of natural selection by Charles Darwin? 4-word term. So it's 4 words. We use it today. Even without reference to Darwin, we use it today to describe people who get ahead in life because they're the toughest, they're the fittest, survival of the fittest. Question number 12, last question. This is in general information. What word connects the following three things? What is the pattern that connects all three? A radiant circle around the head, a cloud, and a magical broomstick. A radiant circle around the head, a cloud. Christine?
Which?
No. And a broomstick, a magical broomstick. Time is up. The answer is Nimbus. Nimbus 2000 was the broomstick in Harry Potter. It's also the name for a cloud. And of course, it's also like a halo, a radiance around the head. It's Nimbus. We have a champion for the week. It's Javier. Congratulations with 12,000 pesos from De La Salle University. Akira from UK Diliman, 3,000 pesos. Not bad at all. And Christine, thank you so much for joining us. 5,000 pesos for you. And of course, the chance to experience what it's like here on Bilyonaryo Quiz B. And that's the end of round 2. Get ready for the final showdown where our weekly winner will have a chance to take home even more cash. He's fighting against the clock. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bilyonaryo Quiz B, the quiz competition designed to reward intelligence and quick thinking. Now, our weekly winner had already claimed a spot in our semifinals 3 weeks from now, as well as cash from rounds 1 and 2. Now, let me ask you, Javier, how are you feeling right now? Did you expect to get this far?
No.
Because you just joined for fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently you're lucky because you're up against some really, really intelligent and quick-minded contestants. But of course, you came out with 12,000 pesos, and that means you qualify for these semifinals coming up in a couple of weeks. And of course, our Bilyonaryo Quiz B bonus round. All right, before we start the bonus round, let's listen in to the mechanics of this particular part of the program. In the Bilyonaryo bonus round, our weekly winners face off against a 60-second clock to answer 10 questions worth 3,000 pesos each. Once a question is asked, the contestant can either take their time to consider their best answer, or they can say pass and move on to the next one. After that, the question is discarded and will not be asked again, even if there is time left on the clock. To begin the bonus round, our weekly winners must first pick one of 3 mystery categories. Let's hope they choose wisely. Well, let's hope you choose wisely. Take a look at your categories. We have 3. Over in the screen, we have What's Up Doc, Ways the Woof, or
What's Up,
book
Doc?
endings. How do you say that in the cartoon?
What's up, Dad?
That's right. That's Bugs Bunny, right?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think it is?
I think it's more of health and about diseases.
Very good. It's about doctors, famous doctors. Not necessarily just about medicine, but famous doctors. So if you're ready, let's
Yes.
begin. Let's go. Here's the first question. The National Maternity Hospital of the Philippines is named in his honor. This doctor.
Pass.
Ancient Greek known as the father of medicine.
Hippocrates.
Scottish physician who discovered penicillin.
Fleming.
She founded the first children's hospital in the Philippines.
Dr. Fidel Mundo.
Marvel superhero who wears on his chest the Eye of Agamotto.
Dr. Strange.
As health secretary, he popularized the slogan, "Let's do it."
Herbosa.
American who developed a maneuver to save choking victims.
Pass.
Former Salamat Doc TV host and political candidate with 17 million plus Facebook followers and counting.
Pass.
Fictional veterinarian who can talk to animals.
Dr. Dolittle.
And the last question, South African surgeon who performed the world's first human heart transplant.
That's a good question. I forgot. Pass.
We can't go back to those questions anymore.
Okay.
So would you like to answer the last one? South African surgeon,
No.
first heart transplant.
No.
All right, let's just wait for the clock to finish. There we go, time is up. And let's review the answers you gave. National Maternity Hospital of the Philippines is named in his honor. You said pass. Jose Fabella. The
Fabella.
Dr. Jose Fabella Memorial Hospital in Santa Cruz. That's right. Ancient Greek known as the father of medicine, Hippocrates. That is correct. Scottish physician who discovered penicillin. Fleming, Alexander Fleming, same thing, correct. She founded the first children's hospital in the Philippines. How did you know this? Fidel Mundo.
It was our second grade.
Ah, okay. You remember it from second grade. Marvel superhero with the Eye of Agamotto. Doctor Strange. First name was? Stephen Strange.
Strange.
Very good. American who developed a maneuver to save choking victims. Would you now know that?
No.
It's called the Heimlich maneuver. So the doctor was Henry Heimlich. That you're choking and someone like does a maneuver to save you from choking to death. Former Salamat Doc TV host, I'm sure everyone knows that. Willie Ong, Doc Willie Ong, okay? Fictional veterinarian who can talk to animals. You're right, Dr. John Doolittle. South African surgeon who performed the world's first human heart transplant. Christian Barnard is the correct answer. And he did that in Cape Town way back in 1967, the first ever heart surgery. Let's check out how much you take home. You have 12,000 from the previous rounds plus 15,000. You're good at mathematics. That's an amount to 27,000 pesos. Congratulations. De La Salle University must be very proud of you, and especially your friends at the University Student Government. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's right, a heartfelt thank you to our incredible contestants for tonight's thrilling competition, and of course to our amazing audience, all of you who are watching at home, for your unwavering support. Now, in this exciting space, knowledge and a passion for trivia are your greatest assets. So join us next week for another exciting episode filled with brilliant minds like Javier, and of course, intelligent and intense challenges that we just showed you earlier on. Goodbye, everyone, and see you soon on Bilyonaryo
News Channel.
Bilyonaryo Quiz B.